Hi friends, today's guest is Sarika Panchhi. Her second name, Panchhi, is what she lives with. A multifaceted person. Sarika brought up her son single-handedly, held great positions in private sector, and then gave it all up to transition into entrepreneurship, having started not one, but some four different enterprises. She is a sister who bonds beautifully. She is a great daughter and a mother who has a son aiming to be like her and following her footsteps. Welcome to Life Begins at 40, Sarika.
Thank you, Sanjana. Thank you very much. I'm so happy to be here and so happy to be chatting up with you.
I am delighted to have met you and to have you here with me today. So, Sarika, tell me, what is that one single event which has had the biggest impact on who you are?
So it's a little difficult to put it in one event because I do believe that you become what you become because of everything you've gone through, the good, the bad, the ugly, all encompassing. But I do feel that when I left my husband and I decided to divorce him, and my son was only 1.5 at that time, that one event would be the biggest turning point of my life. क्योंकि उसके बाद ऑप्शन ही नहीं था. I had to take everything on my shoulders. Arav, my son was only 1.5 years. So whether I liked it or no, I had to become, this resilient, strong person, independent, in all aspects. So while I feel that I've learned from all other experiences equally, but this one event changed me way more than any other event before that. So I very openly say now I'm 45, that the 15 years after that, I have grown way more than the 30 years before that. So I would give some credit to the event, and now I call myself happily divorced.
Beautiful. That's indeed confidence. You've been able to achieve a lot more, I think, after your divorce than ever before.
Ever before, yes. I think, like I said, when you don't have a choice, then you only go up. Once you hit rock bottom, there is no other way to go. So yes, I did.
So tell me, what is your thought process when it comes to human morality? Do you think it's learned or innate?
I think it changes. I think to each his own. It also depends on where you're standing and looking at the larger picture from. So is it innate or I think we all learn it. It is a huge conditioning that we go through. So while we inherit it, I do feel it keeps changing. So your right could be my wrong, and my absolute right could be absolutely your wrong. I may have been born like that and inherited it. I may have been conditioned by my parents. But over years, I have seen at least that we keep changing the definition of morality for ourselves. Somehow, when you thrown into a situation, suddenly you do question your morality and say that, oh my God, this is what I was told, but this is how I'm behaving. Is this right? So I have seen it change for people. I think people are born with it and conditioned, but I do feel that it drastically changes. Life just keeps changing the definition of morality.
You're so right. I have seen it change with myself. And there are times when I judge myself because that dichotomy of what we've been taught.
Yes, absolutely. It's very interesting. I was recently driving with a very young intern in our office, extremely young. And this was the first time that we were spending like captive time together. So she works with word of mouth media, and she's done a lot of editing on a lot of our videos. So she knew the kind of conversations that I have. But this is the first time we were spending time. So she asked me the same question. And I asked her, I said, why? What are you going through? And she's all of 22 or something. She said, no, but my parents had taught me something and I thought I was a certain way. But today I'm doing things that I didn't think I would. I said, but do you feel guilty about it? She said, no. I said, then you're in the right spot. Then, stop judging yourself. your morality will also tell you, where to go. So, create your own definition. Why not?
बहुत खूबसूरत तरीके से बोला. और so you've seen difficult times, right? After after you decided to go in for the divorce, and like most women who decide to be single after a point and have the responsibility of bringing up a child. So what is the worst example of, I don't know if it's a correct thing to ask or use, poverty that you have seen or challenging times?
So we went bankrupt as a family when the 2008 fiasco happened. The global meltdown had happened. But मुझे लगता है कि poverty itself is not the most challenging. That I think a lot of people go through. We also went through. I think what is the most challenging is the attitude, when you're in poverty, or the support when you're in there. So what was the most difficult phase? Yes, it was one of the most difficult phases. It was also the phase that I was also fighting a divorce. We went bankrupt. Ara was very, very young. My parents were co-parenting him with me. But amidst all of this, the fact that we stuck together, and my parents, my brother, me, the fact that we just said that, look, we'll sail through it, is what let us continue. So poverty or no, challenges or no, I think I would always tell everybody, don't focus on that. Focus on your actions during that time, and
and
there'll be a way out.
You develop.
Yes.
Right. So what is the most important thing the person can do to improve themselves?
I'm sorry, the person can do to
improve themselves, be a better version of themselves.
Right. So Sanjana, मुझे लगता है that you owe it to yourself to keep growing. I mean, if you don't, then it's almost like unfair to yourself. So are we all born perfect? No, we are not. We are not trained. We are not the most talented. I grew up with my brother, who's like this full of talent guy. He's always shining and all, and I was constantly comparing myself to him. But every single day, if you can move one step ahead, improve, learn, read, go run, walk, whatever, whatever you want to work on. I think that helps. So what can one do? You can concentrate on just continuous improvement, just continuous learning, and whatever is that space that you are trying to improve. So अगर आपको लगता है बहुत अच्छा speaker नहीं है, तो can I, do some mock conversations? अगर आपको लगता है आपकी अंग्रेजी बहुत अच्छी नहीं है, तो can I, read up a little and watch some content, kind of a thing. If you think you need to improve on your health, can you do that extra 2 kilometers every day? And all of that is possible, or anything is possible if you just continue to do it. I think the focus is on being continuously doing it, the continuum. So what can you do? You can just grow every day, like one step at a time, and every day, and you will reach far and beyond. You will not even know where.
One question that I have been really wanting to ask: why the book reviews?
Why the
book reviews? They are fabulous. This is saying they are useful. Yes. But what made you think of something like that?
So I came to Dehradun 6 years back, and I took over my brother's business, word of mouth. And I think it reached a certain place. When I came from then to about 5 years back, I realized that I had done my bit. And increasingly, I realized that what I wanted to do for myself was in the space of relationships, life, taking charge and all of that. And that had to be expressed through some medium. And books are a great medium to do that. So I started cover to cover about a year and a half back in the middle of COVID, because I realized that बहुत सारी learnings हैं. And every time you pick a book, if somebody can review it for you, that person is also bringing that person's personal point of view into the book. So there is the wisdom of the book, but there is also the wisdom of the person who's presenting. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to tell the world, or whoever, even if it's 2 people, that look, this is telling this, and I have learned it here in my life. मैंने ये यहाँ पे सीखा था, यहाँ सीखा था, मेरी इस conversation में मुझे ये समझ में आया था. So this actually can be applied, and just see how beautifully it marries life. So with that, and then I started doing the book reviews. I consciously don't talk management, even though I've done 2 decades of corporate. I consciously talk life and relations, and feeling the way you're feeling, and in that spectrum.
Sarika, so as a single person, I have been on dating apps, okay, and so which is natural. What I have seen is that there are a lot of people who are lonely. Yeah, everyone seems to want to make a real connection, but it is really hard for people to make that connection. Yeah,
true.
So why do you think that is?
So I think 2 things in this. First of all, I don't think only single people are lonely. I think people who are married, who are in relationships, are also equally lonely. It's just that a lot of times people don't want to express it. They justify what they are doing, or they don't even want to acknowledge it to themselves.
Right.
आपको बाहर acknowledge करने के लिए पहले खुद को acknowledge करना पड़ेगा. Our social conditioning is such that we don't want to talk about it. It's just too sensitive a topic. There is a social stigma attached. But finally, I see a lot of couples who've been married, they've gotten bored, or they've just grown apart or whatever, and they continue to be in the relationship. They are equally lonely, by the way, both men and women. So as much as I work in the women's space, I also equally see men being equally lonely. So lonely, तो I think बहुत सारे लोग हैं. Or I think that's also the one biggest fear that people carry. Fear of being lonely is apparently, I think there was a Harvard study which was conducted, and people realized that is the one biggest fear. क्यों है? मुझे ऐसा लगता है that एक तो हम vulnerable नहीं होते बिल्कुल भी. And I've seen it in my workshops, I've seen it in our conversations. There is a constant facade we are carrying. And we are projecting to be somebody that we are not. And in the bargain, when we connect with people, whether it is in a social gathering, professional networking, or in our relationships, we are constantly trying to be this person that we are not, out of social pressure, financial pressure, whatever. So, जब आप authentic नहीं होगे, तो आपका connection भी authentic नहीं होगा. It's very difficult to happen. I would want to be with a person जिसके आगे मैं जो हूँ, मैं वही हूँ, and then hence you still love me, or vice versa. वो is the first thing that I find missing in relationship. The other thing is that we also have these expectations from our partners and our people, and we want to fit them in this picture. And अगर आप fit नहीं होते तो हमें लगता है नहीं यार ये तो गड़बड़ हो गई. पर क्यों यार, जैसे आप vulnerable हो वो भी vulnerable है. So everybody, all of us have our goods, bads, and uglies. Nobody is all white or nobody is all black. And when we realize that each of us has this spectrum and multiple shades of gray, तो मुझे लगता है कि हम थोड़ा सा we are more accepting of the other person. But you have to first realize कि आपके भी grays हैं और उसके भी होंगे, और let's figure out a shade which works for both of us. So वो कुछ acknowledgement मुझे लगता है missing होती है.
And somebody has to take that first step.
Somebody has to. Yeah, and we are mostly expecting the other person to.
Understood. So Sarika, tell me about all your ventures.
Okay. So I'm very proud of them. So of course, when I left IBM / Concentrix 6.5 years back, I was based in Bombay. My brother put this emotional gun to my head and said, "Yaar, tum mom dad को भी अपने पास रखियो क्योंकि तुम single हो, तो you and our parents will always stay in Bombay. What the hell? Please come to Dehradun, take over the business, and also bring the family back together." So I gave in and I decided to leave everything, and I moved to Dehradun. So for the last 6 years, we've been managing word of mouth media, and I became like the business head while he took over creative. And then we added another third partner, me from Bombay. But over years, I realized that while I had come to Dehradun and I was working on word of mouth, this was not my dream. I was just, I took the mantle from my brother and I started running with his dream, and which was great. but it wasn't as satisfying. So I needed to vent my own more for the sake of my own identity. And I went to my brother and I said, look, bhai, yaar, this is what I'm going through. He said, and what do you want to do? I said, well, I'm still exploring. Thankfully, from my very childhood, I had read psychology in school. So I've always been interested in psychology. I've been interested in human behavior and relationships, etc. And naturally, a lot of people, especially women, would come and talk to me about their problems. What should I do, etc., etc. So that happened naturally over here. And that's when I realized that maybe I need to pursue it a little more. The first one, other than word of mouth, the first one I started was Cover to Cover. Cover to Cover, like we spoke about it, it's a book review series where I pick books that are more meaningful, more life, and I bring my own point of view. So they are completely from my lenses. It's not like a very data-driven, factual review. It is very from the heart, emotional, from my point of view kind of a review. So that was the first one I started. Post that, about a year back, in fact, exactly a year back, we started Jivisa. We started it last year on Women's Day. Jivisa is a wellness brands company. We try, it is a women-led organization. I also try and source from women, and wherever possible, we try and employ and train women in Uttarakhand. So my idea is that through our products work, if I can impact some more women around me. So we try and source from the Himalayan belt because we are based in Dehradun. We very proudly say we are sending love from the Himalayas. And we very proudly say we are a women-led organization. So far we have about 10 odd products, and this year the idea is to like really make it big and expand the product line. But it has to be all natural. It has to be something that my parents or my children can use. Unless I can use it at home, I'm not going to take it to the market, is what we have decided. So Jivisa is our second, this is in the physical wellness space. Cover to Cover is in the emotional wellness space. I also am a life coach, and I'm not a trained psychologist, but through my workshops that I've been trained on and through the psychologies that I've learned, I do try and share experiences and help people out. The third one we have literally launched this week is called Be You Bravely. This is along with my friend Archana in Gurgaon. Be You Bravely is a platform for women to come and express themselves absolutely unapologetically. So the idea is to create a space where you're not being judged on who you are, what your family background is, what you're wearing, etc. And you can just come and be yourself literally. So we just had our first meet about a week back. We are now about 17 members. And we'll grow the community. And the objective is very clear that this is not for your personal branding or professional networking. There are enough and more groups around. This is only for you to come and be and express and ask for help if you need be and lend likewise. So that's the third one. And the Coffee Beans retreats. Sorry, do you want to?
I wanted to ask, so when you say ask for help, did you have like a team of professionals working with you, or is it just a heart connect where women talk to each other and kind of, as you said, are completely accepting and non-judgmental?
There are no professionals in the sense that there are no professionals to run this. Everybody in the group is a professional in their personal capacity, of course. But that's not what we are bringing to the table. We all have done enough. We all have achieved in life. So हमारे professional accolades तो हम सबको मिल जाते हैं. But हम when we're talking about that, हम अपनी personal struggles के बारे में बात नहीं करते. You know, so we are looking for a safe space, like you and I were having a chat 5 minutes back. So we're trying to create a community of people where you can come and say that, look, I'm going through this and I don't know who to go to. You know, can I just come and unburden? So this space, Be You Bravely, is only about that. And nothing else. I don't know, when we grow, how will we make sure that the energies, yes. But we've decided that we are going to pick and choose the people. Anybody we think whose energy is not matching, we will not invite that person. So we are hoping that we will be able to get the sanctity of the place.
It's a lovely intent. Okay, so then you were talking
Yeah.
about telling us about coffee.
Yes, and finally the coffee beans retreats. That's again something that Archana and I do. Uh, we do retreats for women. It could be a 3-4 day format kind of a thing, and it's not like a management retreat, and it's not travel alone. It is life learnings and travel put together. So we did one in Rishikesh. We've done one in Dharamshala. We are now planning one in Goa in April. Again, we invite women to come, and it is very heavily conversation based. But of course, there's a lot of fun and everything involved also. So Rishikesh, if you go, you have to also go rafting, and you also have to look at Ganga Aarti or kayaking. But we also get together and say, "Acha, life mein hua kya hai?" And we called our first workshop, "Do you smell the coffee?" So the idea is that you take a step back and say, "Okay, can I look at life in the eyes?"
Yeah.
So those are the current ventures that
And
I'm very, very happy with.
so, tell me one or two instances of transformational moments for the ladies who attended these workshops.
Sure. So in our Rishikesh workshop, we had this lady from Delhi. She has recently, she's going through physical challenges very late in life. So very recently, I think in her late 40s, early 50s, she realized that she had autoimmune and various other things. And suddenly, from being this gregarious, outgoing person, she became this really a dependent on family kind of person physically. And this place that we had hired, and she also has a pacemaker, and this place we had hired, you had to climb up, climb down, and for rafting, for kayaking, you had to go places. After the first day of workshop, the same evening we were going for kayaking, and she was the first one to go down. And she said, "Please record this because I want to show it to my family to say that okay, stop putting me down and putting restricting me. I think I still have it in me, and I still want to do it." We were very apprehensive. We were very scared for her. So, we were holding her hand and taking her
Yeah.
down. But the fact that she went and some very physically fit people did not go. They got scared. And she took longer to reach down or to come back up. She kept holding her hand, but she went all the way down. She did the kayaking. She came back up. She made the video and she sent it to both her kids. So I do feel that some of these workshops unlock or, change something in your mind if you really decide to completely be there. Of course, during the workshops a lot of relationship things come out. It either gives you a new perspective, or sometimes it gives you a space to question your own actions also. Sometimes it could be that your own actions could have gone wrong, and it's a good reflection time. So in that space I've seen a whole lot of women go back happier, satisfied. But this particular lady, because it was more physical, I thought this was fantastic for us as the facilitator.
Human spirit, huh? Indomitable.
Completely.
So, quickly, life after 40.
I think life after 40 is the most graceful. Life after 40 में आपके जो compliments आते हैं वो सिर्फ grace पे आते हैं, ये मुझे समझ में आ गया.
बिल्कुल.
And yeah, everybody makes you say you're so graceful. पहले कोई और मतलब पहले के compliments बहुत अलग होते थे. Now it is more about grace. Life after 40 is a lot of wisdom through your own life learnings, because you've made a whole lot of mistakes, but by the time you reach here, you also recognize your own mistakes and you say that, okay, this is where I was wrong and I would like to change it. So I think life after 40 is graceful, wise. Also, today's 40 is not really 40, so you're also more experimental.
Yep.
And I think you really stop judging. You completely stop judging. You start empathizing way more than earlier because now you get it. Now you know that this person must be going through this challenge. Let's not be harsh on that.
Coming to the next set of questions, थोड़े से quick fire questions, and to understand Sarika a little more. So, Sarika के लिए Netflix or YouTube?
Netflix, anytime.
And what do you watch? Series or movies?
A little bit of both. I have also recently realized कि time बहुत कम है और रात का time में आप किताब पढ़ सकते हो क्योंकि आपको अपनी next book review करनी है, आप Netflix देख सकते हो. So it is gradually becoming lesser and lesser. But definitely Netflix, YouTube तो मुझे समझ में ही नहीं आता.
So while walking, music or podcasts?
Music, completely. And if you're going for a run, like a nice run playlist.
Beautiful. Work hard or play hard?
Both. I can't do without either. Absolutely both.
Gee, what's worse, laundry or dishes?
Laundry, I think. डालना तक ठीक है, निकाल के तह करके रखना is not my thing. So I can do the dishes, I can't do the laundry.
Online shopping or shopping in a store?
Online shopping, only because it saves a lot of time. And I'm always crunched for time. So I end up buying something, some very ridiculous stuff because you can't make out, but I still prefer online. I can't be in the malls.
Yeah, especially after these 2 years away from the malls.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So most important thing in a partner, intelligence or humor?
I think both. Intelligence because it stimulates a good conversation and you have to have it. And humor because it becomes so boring otherwise. Like, I can't just be talking serious stuff, right? I need to have fun and I need to also let my hair down. So absolutely both.
Wonderful. Coffee, chai or soft drink?
Coffee and chai both.
Okay.
I'm a hardcore coffee person. I'm equally a hardcore chai person. Soft drinks are out. You could add wine maybe. And my list would be complete.
Save or spend?
Both. Save a little, spend a little. You can't save it all because you don't know whether you'll be there to enjoy it tomorrow. You can't spend it all because, well, there is a tomorrow. So both, a little bit of both.
Vacation or new gadgets?
Vacation, anytime. Anytime. New gadgets for my son, vacations for me.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's how the kids are. So, oceans or mountains vacation ke liye?
I live in the mountains. I'm constantly surrounded by them. Hence, I'm always looking to get out. I do enjoy the mountains, पर वो मेरी जिंदगी है. तो vacation के लिए beaches.
Rather. Okay. City or countryside?
Countryside. Now, life after 40 countryside.
Working alone or working in a team?
In a team. Yeah. Absolutely anytime. The energy of a team is just so fantastic. You think you can do it all. There is always somebody younger, doing better, nicer ideas, and it's just so satisfying. Always in a team.
This takes me back to you telling me that you love people.
All completely. When I came to Dehradun, we also started a running group. It's called Dehradun Running Club, DRC. The Sunday morning runs, Sanjana, were beautiful only because it used to be a group run. You know, the runs alone are fine, but that has different energy. You know, people coming together, conversations, it's just so nice. So anytime that I have a choice of having a lot of people around me, work, professional, personal, passion, I would always go for people.
You give a lot of yourself to the people you engage with.
Yes, I do. In fact, I remember way back, almost 15 years back, there is this dear friend of mine, Jimmy, who used to be the head of HR for IBM. And now he's my partner in word of mouth. मैंने नया join करा था and he said, तुझे हर किसी को जाके सब कुछ क्यों बताना होता है? Why is there a need? And I looked at him and I said, but why should I not? You know, if I'm connecting, then I would like to connect completely. Why not? And I think that's how I am. Anywhere and everywhere.
So hard copies or ebooks?
Hard copies and the smell of the pages and the yellowing of the pages.
So Sarika, in 5 years?
I'm hoping that I will. So there are two pieces of work that I do. Jivisa, word of mouth, runs my home. The coffee beans cover to cover is for my soul. That's a lot of transformational work. I don't make anything there, but I continue to do it because it's very enriching. So my Sarika at 50 ki dream hai that I will be financially independent enough to only be able to do this and just be amongst people and do the work that I like doing. So that's the only dream that I've put for myself at 50.
How wonderful. Service.
Service, yes, amongst people.
Service to people. Yes, yes. So, Sarika, it's been a delight talking to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjana.
Thank you for your time. मजे आ गए मेरे को.
Thank you for absolutely. Thank you for having me here, and I hope हमारी अगली coffee in person होगी. Whenever that happens.
100%.